displaced because of the very heavy showers in the region. Madagascar is still going to be seeing some extremely heavy rain over the next couple of days, but not too bad down towards South Africa. Cape Town at 26 degrees, partly cloudy. The showers will be just to the east, and Johannesburg will be sunny, about 27 degrees for you. Well, up towards the Arabian Peninsula, we are looking at some cooler conditions. Here in Doha, temperatures are only going to get to about 24 degrees on Saturday. Abu Dhabi at 23, but we could possibly see some showers for the southwestern part of Saudi Arabia as we head into Sunday.
People talk about televising the revolution. It's tweeting the revolution, Facebooking the revolution, videotaping the revolution.
A new world driven by new media.
This is a very peculiar moment in media history.
Nobody can force me in 2011 to watch whatever I don't want to watch.
Analyzing the media's role in shaping modern history. The Listening Post, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Welcome back. Let's start with another look at our top stories on Al Jazeera. In Libya, Colonel Gaddafi's troops have attacked areas in and around the opposition-held city of AlJazeera, that's just west of Tripoli. Reports say at least 30 people have died, but the area remains under rebel control. Protesters in Egypt have clashed with security forces in Alexandria after they tried to storm a state security building. Witnesses say police opened fire at the protesters, resulting in several injuries. The U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has condemned the killing of at least 6 female protesters in Côte d'Ivoire. She says incumbent President Laurent Gbagbo has shown a total disregard for human life. Libya's problems are being compounded by the supply of food. Over 90% is imported, and the ongoing conflict is impacting on distribution. The World Food Programme says food is already scarce in some parts of the country, and rising global prices are adding to the concern. Tim Friend reports.
Not guns or missiles, but food. And in a protracted conflict in Libya, it could determine the outcome more crucially than any conventional weapon. Here in rebel-held AlJazeera, the baker, Agu Fakri, reveals that the use of food as a weapon by Gaddafi supporters has already begun.
Obviously, there's no stock of flour left. We had a small quantity coming from Tripoli, but it was taken back. We saw it on TV being brought as far as Sirte. We saw that the leader said the flour could come to the east, and then the flour was turned back by those highway bandits of his.
The World Food Programme is calling for urgent and safe access to Libya after a ship carrying vital food aid was unable to dock at the port city of Benghazi on the Mediterranean coast due to security concerns. The WFP has launched an emergency operation costing more than $39 million to provide much-needed food aid for Libyans inside the country and those who fled into neighbouring Tunisia and Egypt.
We were getting reports from those crossing the border into Tunisia just earlier this week about food being used as a potential weapon. We heard that some of Gaddafi's supporters were trying to deny some of the rebels food in certain areas. I mean, if they see any food trucks coming in, they may be able to stop them. And this is the last thing we want to see, of course, because food should be available to everybody.
Libya relies on food imports. A staggering 90% of all food supplies come from abroad. Many foreign workers are employed in farming and food production, but with migrants fleeing in their thousands, food supplies are suffering. But it's not only food. In 2000, more than a quarter of the population did not have access to safe drinking water. Global food prices have already reached new highs this year and could suffer the impact of further oil price spikes amid turmoil in Libya and the Middle East. Skyrocketing food prices were among the triggers for protests in Egypt and Tunisia. And once again, they're playing a central role in revolution. Tim Friend, Al Jazeera.
The U.S. government has flown in aid supplies to help the thousands stranded along the Tunisian-Libyan border. President Obama insists his administration's current priority is to deliver humanitarian assistance to them. But as Kimberly Halkett reports, many on Capitol Hill are calling for harsher measures.
The U.S. State Department is trying to push the message right now that when it comes to Libya, the U.S. focus is on a humanitarian effort. Right now, it is currently unloading two C-130 planes full of blankets, water, plastic sheeting to help those refugees who have amassed along the border. Later, those same planes will be used in the evacuation effort. But at the same time, there are still calls for the no-fly zone to be put in place over Libya from members of Capitol Hill, prominent Senate Republican and Democrats. But at the same time, the president saying he is going to seek the humanitarian option first, but he is not ruling anything out, that he is preparing to react quickly should the humanitarian situation deteriorate further.
To the United States now, and the man accused of killing 6 people in January's Arizona massacre could be facing the death penalty. Prosecutors in Phoenix have expanded the indictment against Jared Loughner. This will start a review to determine if he should be executed. The 22-year-old was already charged with the attempted killing of U.S. Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords and the deaths of 5 other people. A hedge fund manager accused of leading the largest insider trading ring in the history has appeared at a pre-trial hearing in New York. Galleon fund founder Raja Rajaratnam is accused of soliciting inside information from workers at publicly traded companies. Prosecutors claim his fund made $45 million. Staying in the U.S., there appears to be an upturn in unemployment levels. Figures from the U.S. Labor Department show workers who are hired at the fastest pace in the 9 months to February. The jobless rate has also slipped to a nearly 2-year low of just under 9%. But only a fraction of more than 8 million jobs lost during the recession have been recovered. The ongoing dispute between Wisconsin's trade unions and the state governor appears to be escalating. Relations have been strained over a budget balancing bill that would strip workers of their collective bargaining rights. And now Governor Scott Walker has issued layoff warning notices for state workers. Well, Frank M. Spack, the founder of the producer of the Workers Independent News Network, says it's difficult to see how employees and the politicians can reach an agreement.
There have been attempts to discuss things, but they have not reached fruition. And the governor has now said or ordered the Capitol Police or the state police to detain any Democratic senators who enter the state, bring them to the State House, willingly or not, and once they enter the state capitol, declare there is a quorum, even if the senators are not in the chamber, and pass the law. The senators, the Democratic senators, have continued to maintain that they will not come to the state of Wisconsin under these circumstances. So it's an impasse, and we do not know what's going to happen. The governor has raised the stakes by claiming that if this budget repair bill, this is a 3-month bill, incidentally, is